Hi, Shalom Aleichem. Debbie, good? Good. So, it's a crazy time. It's a crazy time. Thanks for tuning in to Folksbiene Live. The artists of National Yiddish Theater are looking to stay connected to our community during these crazy times, trying times. Feel free to comment on Facebook, let your friends know what we'll be doing, these webcasts every weekday until we can resume our normal schedule. Who knows, when that will be. Debbie, you're pointing at me, it's distracting, I need to know what you're doing. And visit our website, NYTF.org, for news and updates regarding our upcoming webcasts, as well as our concerts and theatrical performances. Enjoy. As the Rebbe Elimelech, when the Rabbi Elimelech is geworden sehr freilich, became very, very happy. I don't see you. Is geworden sehr freilich Elimelech. He became so happy, and became happy is a euphemism for being drunk. Hat ausgetan die Twillen, he took off his Twillen, his phylacteries, und hat angetan die Brillen, and put on his glasses, und geschickt nach die Fiddler, die zwei, he sent for the fiddlers, und als die dicke Fiddler, haben dicke Fiddler, haben sie, und als die dicke Fiddlers, haben dicke Fiddler, haben sie, und als der Rebbe Elimelech is geworden noch mehr freilich, he got even more happy, he got a little bit more drunk. Is geworden noch mehr freilich, Elimelech hat abgemacht Havdalah. He made the Havdalah chants, the prayer after Shabbos goes away. Und hat mit the Shabbos Reb Naftoleh, with the Shabbos, with the sexton Reb Naftoleh. Und geschickt noch die Peikle, and he sent for the drummers. Und als die Peikle, dicke Peikle, haben dicke Peikle, dicke Peikle, haben sie. Und als die Peikle, dicke Peikle, haben dicke Peikle, dicke Peikle, haben sie. Und als der Rebbe Elimelech, and the Rabbi Elimelech is geworden stark freilich, became really, really is geworden stark freilich, Elimelech. Hat ausgetan das Kittel, he took off his robe. Und hat angetan das Kittel, and he put on his hat. Und geschickt nach den Cymbals, and he sent for the cymbals. And nach den Cymbal, dicke Cymbal, haben dicke Cymbal, haben sie. Und als die Cymbal, dicke Cymbals, haben dicke Cymbal, haben sie. So I began the program with the song of the Rebbe Elimelech because it's actually the Rebbe Elimelech's yahrzeit. It's it's a anniversary since his passing in 1787. And Rebbe Elimelech was this incredible rabbi that people study every Shabbos. They study the learnings of Rebbe Elimelech. Before I continue, I just need to thank and acknowledge the incredible staff of the Folksbiene. Giacinta Pace, our social media person who came up with this whole concept of Folksbiene Live, and all of us just got so excited about it. And with Tony in our office, and Steve in our marketing, and the whole staff, from Dominic, our executive director, Muttel, Sabina, Jamie Beth, Jacqueline, Ramona, Joe, Meredith, Itzi, Hannah, Laura. We have a staff that's working round the clock now to kind of figure out what to do in these crazy times. We're in pre-production for The 10th Man, the Padachevsky play that Eleanor Risa translated. It's a world premiere, and we'll be directing, hopefully going into rehearsal in April and opening in May. Wer weiß, right? Who knows at this point? But we're going to go into pre-production next week. We're going to do coachings online, just as we did for Fiddler. More about that later. It's also St. Patrick's Day. So here, Happy St. Patrick's Day. So, Gia asked me, do I have a Yiddish song of St. Patrick's Day? And leave it to my mother. Zalmen Mlotek, Zalmen Mlotek, who was the singing teacher of Camp Biberik, this Yiddish summer camp that was extant from the 20s to the, I think, 80s. And at the end of this camp season, instead of Color War, Leiber Schlera, who was the founder and director of Camp Biberik, came up with the concept of Felka Yom Tov, country's holiday. Let's have a festival of country at the end of the season where every bunk, takes on the personality of another country. And at the end of this summer, they sing songs, each one to their country. Anyway, so Ireland, of course, was one of them. And she came up with this with my father. Tootie-ootie-ay, tadda-little-day, tootie-ootie-ootie-ay, tootie-ootie-ay, tadda-little-day, tootie-ootie-ootie-ay. Or Ireland, mein Irland, mit grüne Berg und Tal, with green mountains and valleys. Hab ich mein Herz, I've got my heart in Ireland. Mein Herz verlost, I left my heart in Ireland. Tootie-ootie-ay, tadda-little-day, tootie-ootie-ootie-ay, tootie-ootie-ay, tadda-little-day, tootie-ootie-ootie-ay. A little bit of Ireland. And then I was thinking, what other Irish songs? I was thinking of George M. Cohan. And George M. Cohan, who we think maybe was of Jewish ancestry, but of course was not. It was he was part of a vaudevillian troupe of the four Cohans. And what a perfect tie-in for me and at the Folksbiene, because George M. Cohan for us represents at this moment Joel Grey. And Joel Grey, who directed Our Incredible Fiddler, starred in George M. And when Fiddler was running, our cast was invited to participate in Broadway Fights AIDS concerts. So we had an incredible team of Ben Liebert and Adam Shapiro, with the help of Michael Yashinsky, who translated the Yiddish words, and came up with these with incredible parodies. And we won. We won. Fiddler, our incredible cast won the awards for these events. And I need to in honor of St. Patrick's Day, and my nod to Michael Yashinsky and Adam and Ben. They sang, the whole cast sang. I think actually Joel came out and sang, Get up mein Gruß zu Broadway, der Mond mich dort in Herald Square. Sag meine Freund auf 42. Ich komm ot, ich schwör. Schätze dort von mein Bänkschaft zu treffen seht, warum Vauxhall. Heu geht ab mein Gruß zu mein Broadway und sagt, dass ich will sein, schön bald. Und sagt, dass ich will sein, schön bald. I mentioned Fiddler, and our year, the last year of the Folksbiene, last 2 years have been incredible years, thanks to an incredible company, incredible cast, wonderful, our director, our choreographer, everybody involved. And we recently went to Melbourne. Me, Stash Kamiech, our incredible choreographer who staged all the musical numbers, Moretta Munter, who was the assistant choreographer and is now the associate director down in Melbourne for this new production, and I went down as musical supervisor, and we're going to do, God willing, a production of Fiddler at the Sydney Opera House, opening in September. Please God, right? We were there, Moretta and Stash, we were there for 3 weeks. I sang Waltzing Matilda, Waltzing Matilda. You know, all the Australians, the Aussies, had a great time because how does this American know this song? Well, because my mother was this folklorist. Our trip in Melbourne was incredible. We visited Melbourne and Sydney. We did auditions 1 week in Melbourne, 1 week in Sydney. In Melbourne has the most incredible Jewish Yiddish community. Unlike any other city in the world, Melbourne had the wisdom, foresight, money, vision to create Yiddish day schools when immigrants came from Eastern Europe and settled in Australia in the late 40s. And these day schools still exist. There's a Zalmen Mlotek school that still exists and raised. So if we're talking from the late 40s to present, we're talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of Yiddish-speaking, because Yiddish was the language of the school and is, Yiddish-speaking Australians. So the people who auditioned, many of them were from that incredible community. I was welcomed so beautifully by people there, Frady Marocki, my friend Henry Nussbaum, the Zilberman sisters, I mean, and the whole company, the whole group there of the Melbourne Yiddish community welcomed me, and I did a sing-along at night, and what's so interesting is that a large group of those Melbourne Jews were Bundisten, like my father was, and we went to Yiddish summer camp, Camp Hemshech, and they had the skiff camps, and we sang most of the same songs. So I want to sing this song that the skiff sang. They sang it in Warsaw, not in Warsaw, but outside of Warsaw, at the Medem Sanatorium, where sickly Jewish kids would go in the 30s, would go and have a little bit of fresh air. So here's a song from that period that the skiff sang in Melbourne and we sang in Hemshech in our camp. Singen dick, singing, dreh sich die Welt, die Verwundete. The wounded world is comforted. Und durch Gesang and through song, öffnen sich Hand, gebundene. Hands are opening up. Hands that have been closed are opening up. Singen wir, singen wir, singen wir. Und alle Welten verklingen wir. And our song goes to all the worlds. Singen, dick, singing. Wacht auf die Welt, die verblutigte. The bloodied world, the hurt world, is woken up. Und durch Gesang and through singing, through music, freien sich Herzen, gemutigte hearts are heartened and get life and get hope. Singen wir, singen wir, singen wir. So we sing. Und alle Welten verklingen wir. Singen wir, singen wir, singen wir. Und alle Welten verklingen wir. Singen wir, treten die Welt, die Verwundete. Und durch Gesang öffnen sich Hand, gebundene. Singen wir, singen wir, singen wir. Und alle Welten verklingen wir. Another song that comes to mind, written by Morris Winchevsky. You know, I have this collection of Yiddish songs because my parents were collectors and they published several songbooks. And here's a song, one of the songs that they collected. And my mother was always a stickler for giving credits. People, what are the comments? I should play more. This is by Morris Winchevsky. lived between 1856 and 1936, and he wrote, "Oh, die Welt wird werden jünger, the world will become younger. Und das Leben leichter geringer, and life will become easier. Jeder Klager wird ein Singer, every complainer will become a singer. Werden wieder bald and will become brothers. Oh, die Welt wird werden schöner, the world will become more beautiful. Liebe größer, love more, Sinne kleiner, hate less. Zwischen Frauen, zwischen Männern, between women, between men, zwischen Land und Land. Also mutig in die Reihen, so come to join our ranks, in die Reihen zu befreien, in our ranks to free, zu befreien und beneien, to free and to renew unsere alte Welt, our old hurt world." So I got a couple of requests in a couple of days that as we were talking about this, and one of the requests was, of course, for this song, probably one of the most familiar Yiddish songs that talks about the fireplace, "Auf dem Klippetschik brennt a Fire" by Mark Warshawski. Und in Stub is heiß, and it's hot and warm in the house. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach, and the rabbi teaches little children, dem Aleph Beis. Und der Rebbe lernt kleine Kinderlach, dem he teaches them the alphabet. Solche Kinderlach. So listen, Gedenkschatei, listen children, was ihr lernt, what you're learning here, and say it again, solche noch amol. Say it again, Tage noch amol. Comets, Aleph, the first letter of the alphabet. Solche noch amol, und Tage noch amol. Comets, Aleph, So I grew up in this home where Yiddish was spoken and was sung, and my grandfather, my mother's father, I didn't know my father's parents were killed, murdered, as they say, But my mother's parents, Leo and Bessie Gordon, he was a lover of the Yiddish theater. And one of his favorite songs was this fun song that we incorporated into on 2nd Avenue. Wir kommen von Passaic, we come from Passaic. Wir seien sehr fähig, bam 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 seien wir. Wir seien sehr witzig, wir seien sehr spitzig, bam 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 seien wir. And he would say, lady, Svet sich schon auspressen. It's gonna be alright. Svet sich schon auspressen. Svet sich schon auspressen. Ihr fahrt in ein Elevator, sei wie sei. Ihr geht doch im Theater. Svet sich schon auspressen. Svet sich schon auspressen. Ihr fahrt in ein Elevator, geht doch im Theater. Svet sich schon auspressen. Pressen, it's gonna, like a press is an iron, so it's all gonna be smoothed out. And kind of a thought for us today as we're in these crazy times. Who knows what's going to be? We have to be together as a community, and so that's why I'm delighted to do this with you. My wife is showing me her fingers. That means to play, right? Okay. So here's a song from the Yiddish theater, from the early Yiddish theater, called Zuma by Nacht. Zuma by Nacht on the rooftops. It's a moment to think about the summer. Von Christi bis kennen, ihr sollt sehen die Szenen in a heißer Sommernacht. From Christie Street to Cannon, you should see the scenes in a hot summer night. Von Broom Street und Hecher, bei Nacht auf die Dächer, es reibt sich, es läuft sich ab. From Broom Street and schwitzt we sweat and we wipe it off. We trinkt soda Wasser, Asaf. We drink a lot of soda Wasser. For boys und Maiden, boys, for boys and girls. Is Havana, Gan Eden is a wonderful paradise. Sommer bei Nacht auf dem Dach, summer rooftops on the rooftop, on the roof. Sommer bei Nacht auf die Dächer, summer nights on the roof. Das ist a golden Zeit, a golden time. And läuft von der Rumpkes die Löcher. We run from the Rumpkes, the rooms, the holes. And wird wie von prison befreit. It's as if we're being freed from prison. Dort kommen nicht kein police light, no police up there. Dort megmeton jede Sach. There we can do everything. Dort das steht nicht gesagt, oi wir sollen nicht gewähren. Sommer bei Nacht. You ain't seen nothing if you haven't been to summer at night on the roof. And if you hear right and the band play, right, it's from the same period. It's like Shane's nicht gesehen, oi wir sein nicht gewähnt. Sommer bei Nacht, oi von da, I'll do it one more time. Sommer bei Nacht, oi von da, das ist a golden Zeit. And läuft von der Rumpkes die Löcher, and fährt wie von Prison befreit. Dort kommen nicht kein Police Light, dort megmeton jede Sach. Ihr habt kein Shades nicht gesehen, you ain't seen nothing like it. Sommer bei Nacht auf dem Dach. So, have there been any requests? Any requests? No requests. Okay. Well, I saw some friends. I saw, as we started, I saw some people from Moldova. My dear friend Susanna is watching from Moldova, and other people I can't see who's on, but I'm told that there are people as far as Moldova, and that's very exciting to me. Another song that I wanted to sing and wanted to share with you was a song that was written after the war by Shmerke Kaczyginski. Shmerke Kaczyginski was a partisan in the Vilna ghetto, and after the war he went from DP camp to DP camp all over France and Europe and collected songs. And I'm looking at where my Kaczyginski is on my shelf, but I don't see it at the moment. But he collected hundreds of songs, and one of the songs that I thought would be really appropriate would be this song, which says, Soll schon kommen die Geule, let the redemption come. We talk about the Mashiach when Mashiach has many different connotations. We can think of the Mashiach as good times, not only the times when there will be fighting between people and there will be peace, but there'll be good times, and it's a moment for us to think. And the chorus goes like this. So it goes, Soll schon kommen die Geule, so let the redemption come. Soll schon kommen die Geule, soll schon kommen die Geule. Mashiach komm schon bald, soll schon kommen die Geule, soll schon kommen die Geule, soll schon kommen die Geule. Mashiach komm schon bald. So I got a request. We're running a little bit out of time, but I'm gonna end with a song, with a folk song that is also published in my mother's books. But before, I just want to tell you about what's coming up. Tomorrow we're going to have programs. Mottel Didner is doing programs all online. But here's a song called Our Nindel, Our Song. And it says, Mira Nindel in Nachis und in Frieden. So we have this this little tune in happiness and in joy. Singen wir es, beides wir es, klingt es, also schön. So we sing it Saturday when we sing our songs. It sounds so beautiful. Das noch gesungen, der Tate mit der Mamen. That was sung by my father and my mother. Wenn sie seinen Kindern noch gewähnt, when they were just kids. Oh, da soll ich wieder nicht klingt das in. As a Freilach sind die Kinder. Oh, da soll ich wieder nicht klingt das in. As a Freilach war der Holiday. Mir an Ningel in Masel und in Broche. In Masel, we have a Ningel in happiness and in blessings. Singen wir es, klingt es also schön. Das wird noch gesungen, die ganze Mischproche. The whole family sang it, wenn sie seinen Kindern noch gewähnt. Sing with me on. One more requests. We have time for 3 more requests. We have time. Well, here's one. Here's one from the Yiddish theater. As du sollst sein schwarz wie a Tute, if you were dark like a black cat, then as an egelach wie bei a Kuta, and if you had eyes like a dark cat. Wenn du bist William Indianer, bist a Villa Galiciana, if you were wild like an Indian, and even were a Galicianer, doesn't matter. Weil bei mir ist es schön, bei mir hast du kein, bei mir bist du einer auf der Welt. Bei mir bist du Gitt, bei mir hast du Gitt, bei mir bist du tired of Geld. Viel schöner Mädel vom, schön gewollt mit mir, viel sehen alle äußere Glück. Explain. By me, Mr. Shane. Is that your grand English version, Sammy Condon? I could say Bella, Bella, even say Wunderbar. Which only helps me tell you how grand you are. By me, Mr. Shane. By me, Mr. Shane. By me, Mr. Shane. Means that you're grand. So we have a lot of interesting programs coming up for you. I'll happily do this again with requests. We could do a whole program of requests because we're getting so many requests now. But I just wanted to again thank you for being here, Folksbiene Live. Tune in tomorrow. We have an incredible program with Muttel Didner, our associate artistic director, is going to do a program of Yiddish theater, past, present, and future. And who better than Muttel, who has been with our company now for 17 years and has been my right hand. Visit our website, NYTF. The Yiddish theater has shared this love of Yiddish with countless audiences. We want to make sure that Yiddish culture is heard and continues to be heard, especially in these trying times. So join us. Come to our programs this week, next week. We have wonderful programs. We have Stephanie Lynn Mason and Drew Sigula doing, who played our Huddle, and Perchik, who actually got engaged during our 2 years that we were together. And they're going to be doing a program of love duets. One of the songs that they'll be doing, and maybe we'll sign off with this. schönst wie die sind, in der leichtst wie die Levone. Meine Augen, die sterben, von dem Himmel leichten sehen. Und an dir zu sein, ist mein Leben in Sakrone. With the Rebbe Melech melody that I started before, gives you a little sense. This is a tune that Molly Picken wrote for WEVD, and she said, in the shtetl playing Freilach was a klezmer Elimelech, and one day he thought he'd organize a band. He was a man of great renown till they burned his little town, and he went and sailed off to the Golden Land. He got to Ellis Island, met a drummer from the Highland and fiddler from the little town of Gander. He met a Swede and met a Turk, formed a band and went to work. From Elimelech he became Alexander. To Alexander mit sein Poit. Zalmen Mlotek ist nicht kein Joint. Alle macht jeden Fehler, es ist ein Fehler, der Kapelle. Fehler, der Kapelle, auf dem Poit, der ist der Gerest, der Knacker. Heute den ganzen Land daheim, gegangen ist nacken. Heute ist reif, lernt live, zu jedem Südhäusen Spekul. Thank you all for tuning in to the first program of Folksbiene Live. Again, thanks to Gia, Tony, Steve, our whole incredible staff led by Dominic Boletta, and everybody at the Folksbiene. I want to thank them, and thank you all for tuning in. And let's hope that with singing, and with coming together, we can have a little bit of nechama, a little bit of comfort in these incredibly